Okay. Hi, Sinnoh viewers. How are we doing today? Um, yeah, Rocker here. I'm ready to tell you guys what's going on. Um, cool. I'm glad to finally be doing this. We'll start out from the beginning and we'll get going. I don't think I'm gonna do player rankings for now. I'm gonna tell you what I think about each team. Maybe make some suggestions of how to fix issues or just say how I think overall about the team. Yeah. Okay. So here we are. We are on Benny's team, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Um, so first things first. Looking pretty good speed tiers wise. You got a 145, you got a 111, got something near the 100s and 97. 78 is close enough to 80. That's fine. Yeah, so speed tier is looking good. Terms of rolls and roll compression and how we're doing there. We have multiple hazard stackers, Claude Sire, Excelgor. Um, Claude Sire is kind of stuck in that hazard setter role though, because Excelgor does not want to come every week. Uh, I love your Terra Captain. I think Thundy Eye is a great Terra Captain. I think especially with electric flying, you can actually give it a flying stab, which is pretty great. Can also give it uh water stab or ice stab to hit those ground types. So I think Terra Thundy. I think Terra Electrics in general, especially fast ones, are pretty good. Um I like your Terra Captain. Terms of removal, I think you're kind of lacking. Blastoise Rapid Spin is, I mean, I think all you have. Thundy might get defogged. Thundy gets defogged. That's true. Thundy does get defogged. Um, but like, Thundy doesn't want to be running defog as your Terra Captain, and you just can't bring Blastoise every week. Though, I mean, you've brought it to a lot of your matches, I guess, but I don't think it's a mon that can come every single game, especially with. I mean, you have Mega Guard that needs to come more than one match. That's crazy to me. But you have Mega Guard, you have Indeedee to work with Mega Guard, you have Tangrowth, you have Clodsire, you have Urshifu that's coming to every single match. Blacephalon wants to come a lot. Thundy wants to come as your Terra Captain. Goodra wants to come as a wall a lot. You just don't have the room to bring Blastoise as a rapid spinner every week, and Thundy does not want to run Defog. So I think you're a little hazard weak. Um, Thundy's okay with running boots. Everything else doesn't really want to run boots. So it's like, I guess Blaze can run boots, but I don't think Blaze likes running boots. I think it likes running Specs or Scarf for the most part. Type stuff. I mean, you got a Firewater Grass Core, it's pretty solid. You got a Steel Fairy. I mean, it's also your Dragon. Um, Steel Dragon's a great type. Um, You cover your ground weakness fine. You cover your fighting weakness fine. So Gudra's great defensively on this team. Um, Tangrowth I think pairs well with Gudra. You got a big physical wall, big special wall. And Claude is there as well. So a good defensive backbone to this team as well. Um, yeah, I mean overall, I think your team's pretty solid. I mean the major issue is removal, and then I think you might want another physical breaker. Urshifu is kind of your only physical mon, so if you bring one mon to check Urshifu, the rest of your mons can be especially bulky. Um, and Urshifu is not as fast as a lot of physical breakers. Obviously, Urshifu's great physical breaker. I mean, Urshifu's hard to wall, but if you have that mon to wall Urshifu, you have the Azu, you have the Primarina, you have the um insert another bulky fairy here. Tapu Fini. Why am I only naming water fairies? They're not specifically water fairies to all this thing. any bulky fairy. Clefable. Not even particularly. It's not even a particularly bulky fairy, actually. But yeah. I think a lot of potential in this team. A lot can go well. Not any huge flaws, so I think you did well, Benny. Um, when looking at what's on the board still, I guess in terms of what I'm seeing, I mean, I think all of your Mons play a good role in this team, so I don't even know if I'd make any changes. I'd just be careful about hazards. Yeah. Okay, moving on. The first of two Sun teams. I think it's the better one. Um, yeah. So, I mean, you got Valiant, who's arguably the best Mon in Draft League right now. I think it's Pult, but Valiant's pretty close. Very versatile. Um, can run so many different things. Very strong. Hard to check. Yeah, very good Pokemon. But okay, 150, but that's an Electrode, so eh. Iron Valiant at 116 is the top of your curve. I think that's okay. Especially with booster energy, it's okay. I usually want something in the 120, 130 range, and I'm not counting Electrode because no one is prepping for Electrode. If it was a Hisui, I might give it credit, but no one's prepping for a regular Electrode. I think Pyukumuku is weird on this team. Maybe you just didn't have anything else you wanted in that slot, but I see no reason to ever bring a Pyukumuku over a Slowbro. Um, your team is kind of lacking in the special defense area. If you don't count Pyukumuku, which I don't, um, you're kind of locked into AVs or Ogerpon Flame being bulky, which you just don't want to do. So the special defense is lacking. I think he wants something to pair with Torkoal that can wall those special hits that Torkoal's going to get firing off. You're also dang, are you ground weak? Sinistcha, that's what you've got. Sinistcha, which does not want to take sun boosted fire moves or um like because you're not that fire resistant either. Fire plus ground nukes you. Dark plus ground nukes you. Like a Crocodile's a problem for this team. It's not even a special one, but I think Crocodile is a problem for this team. Because like ground weak, ground weak, ground weak, may as well be ground weak, ground weak, frail, dark weak, dark weak. I mean, it can take hits, but it doesn't want to. Pyukumuku is not a real Mon. I think you've got two Mons that I don't see you ever bringing to a game, which is a problem. I like having as many options as possible. I want lower tiers that can do things. Sun is also a team that's very easy to build around. I mean, you can bring Mons that set other weathers, or bring other weather moves, or like I think your team is very heavily reliant on Sun. Sandy Shocks needs the Sun. Walking Wake needs the Sun. Ogre Flame doesn't need the Sun, but it very much wants the Sun. Glimora is a great hazard stacker. It's your only hazard stacker, which locks. That's not even true. What am I saying? Sandy Shocks is a hazard stacker, but you don't want to run Sandy Shocks as your hazard stacker. So Glimora is your hazard stacker, which is fine. Glimora is good. Speed tiers are okay overall, fine. Got a lot of stuff around the 110 range, but I mean you cover 101 to 86 fine, so that's fine. And 70. Yeah, I mean, I think Pyukumuku and Electrode need to go. Let's look at your draft and what tiers they are, because I don't know off the top of my head. Your Blue Sharp, which doesn't. You're a Muciner. No, you're not. You're. Sorry, this is very unedited. Your Cinderlich. So Pukimegu is a purple, and Electrode is your tier 5. I gotta think there's a better tier 5 for you than Electrode. Typhlosion's not on the board, otherwise I would have suggested that just because you're Typhlosion in the sun, which I think is fun. I mean, Kangaskhan is a Wish Passer, um, bulky normal, right, kind of bulky, gets scrappy. Um, yeah, I mean, any sort of Spadef wall, I think Kangaskhan's a great option. Munchlax, even, might consider Munchlax. Yeah, I mean, you got some options down here. Best grounded poison in the game. I mean, as a grounded poison. Does this team have a grounded poison? Oh, Clodsire. Yeah. Okay. So 2 good grounded poisons so far. Uh, yeah. Your ground type's your Terramon, so electric type moves are pretty free in my opinion because Electrode's not real. But you got Sinistcha and Ogrefun Hearthflame. Sinistcha's a little weird on this team. It adds your dark weakness, and you already have a grass type. But I mean, I guess it's okay. It's with the sun up, it's weak to fire, which I don't love. Um, I don't know. Sinistcha is a little weird. Pukumuku should not be on this team. Electrode should not be on this team. Wants Spadef walls. And I mean, Sun is just easy to prep around. But if you build a good team around it, you can do well. You have a Valiant, which is great. You have a Hearthflame, which is great in the Sun. I think Lamore is great. Walking Wake and Sandy Shocks. Sandy Shocks is a great Terra captain. Another electric Terra. I think he's great. And then Torkoal is probably the best Sunsetter. You got the Great Wall and Slowbro, but I think you want to do something else with these other 3 slots to bring more bringable mods. Overall, I think you did okay. Definitely not the best draft, but not the worst. Easy to solve some problems and got a lot of solid mons that work well together. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Boston Stingers. Off the bat, I see a Baxcalibur Glow King. I love this team. Yeah, so I'm a big Glow King, Slow King stan. Clicking those chili reception buttons. You got an Ice Cube with chili reception, which I think is pretty funny. You got a Baxcalibur with chili reception, which is not funny, just broken. Terra Garganackle is the only Garganackle. So, I mean, obviously you're going to Terra it. It does its thing. It does its thing great. You got a Mega Mane and a Grin. At the top of your speed curve, you go down to 100 in Typhlosion, which I think is not ideal, but fine. I do think a lot of those mons in the 100 range will just run out of it because they don't expect Typhlosion to come. But Baxcalibur is a great setup threat, great physical attacker, can just be banded as well. Scizor as well, great physical offense. Has some bulk sets, Defog, Roost, U-Turn. I think it's great on this team. Pivoting is something we didn't really talk about, but I think both teams had decent pivoting. Pivot, 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 pivot. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. And then pivot, teleport is pivot, pivot, flip turn, now pivot, pivot. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Chili reception, pivot. Does Togekiss get? I mean, it gets baton pass. It's a wisp passer, so that's fine. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Ice Cube might be a pivot. I don't know if Ice Cube's a pivot. I actually got to look this up. Napdex. I know, I'm very, very, very prepared, right? Ice Cube. This is Gen 8. Might have gotten it. I don't think it's even. Yeah, okay, flip turn. There you go. Gen 9, Ice Cube got flip turn. So pivot, pivot. Yeah, pivot's all over the place in this one. Typhlosion. I'm a big fan of Typhlosion as a tier 5. I think it's good. I think it has its matchups where it just goes crazy. Castrodon, Garganackle, in terms of hazard setters, that's pretty good. My Gastrodon's a pretty solid hazard setter, good ground type. Um, Grounded Poison is great again. Man, this division knows how to draft the grounded poisons. 3 for 3 on amazing grounded poisons. In terms of types, you're weak to rock resist. Yeah, I mean that's your only rock resist. This is weak to rock. 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 So that's not ideal. Kind of rock weak. Um, Just say you're weak to bundle, but like who isn't weak to bundle? And even I mean Glow King can take those hits. Glow King Garg is a great defensive core. Togekiss with the wish passing is great. I mean both of these get regeneration, and so does all of your defensive mons get regeneration, but Togekiss can also be offensive. And like just having the option to wish past even your Baxcalibur or your Grin, like your Life Orb Grin, I think that's pretty good. I think every mon is bringable on this team, which is a big thing I love talking about. I think having the most options is the best for this team, so I think this team has a lot of options. I do kind of think it's reliant on Baxcalibur to end games. Uh, I mean, Grin Battle Bond can be a good cleaner, but I think Baxcalibur is your like win con in most games. Wish you had some other options. I mean, like Grin is an option, but I don't think it's an ideal one to finish games. I think the defensive backbone is good. Slowking, Gastrodon, Garganackle. I think offensively you want something more than Mega Me, Grin, Vax, and Scissor. But like, I just think I think it's lacking something there. Maybe a Mega of some kind on the special side. Um, but like I like your team, so I don't know what I'd replace. I'm gonna go. Overall, it's pretty good. Rock weak, as I said, so I might get a rock resist. Um, yeah, no fighting type's a little weird. But I mean, can you deal with steals? Ground, fire, overheat, earthquake. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's a big issue. I mean, they'll be bulkier, it'll be harder to hit them because you can't hit them with stab moves, but like Salt Cure even. Terra resist Salt Cure. Eh, I think it's solid. I think you gotta watch out for those 100 speed mons running Adamant Modest, though, because you could be taking more damage than you think. But I think overall, it's a solid team. Very solid. All right, what do we got here? We got a Terra Low Kicks, which I think is funny. Not a bad Terra Captain, just it's low kicks. Like it does the one thing it does. Speed tiers got a Dragapult, got a Cinderace, got an Ogerpon, got a Cobalion, got a Zapdos, got a Low Kicks, and then you drop off to Rhydon. Okay, so everything below 92 is running out of Intermodest, which I don't love. That means Glamora. Um, I mean, just going down the list, what has speed tiers between that likes to be fast, but doesn't have to be fast. Got Goldango, you got Glamora. I mean, the bulky Gliscors don't have to run pretty much any speed. Great Tusk. Just a lot of Lando, even, right? Because 90, yeah, Lando. Lando running Adamant. Rillaboom always runs Adamant anyway. Samurott, like, so many things are going to just run Adamant modest into you. Speaking of Samurott, wow, are you Dark Week? Yeah, Fez and Cobalion, but Slowking, Pulse, Lokix is not a real resist. I guess it's just these two Mons that are weak, but I guess you're not that Dark Weak. Um, no, what cooks you though? Urshifu. Because this is dying, and this does not want to take, well, pretty much any hits from Urshifu. But I was thinking Ironhead. Um, but Fez is bulkier than you would think, so maybe Fez is a fine Urshifu counter. Best priority in the game, Tinted Lid's first impression, Terra, Bandit. It does its thing. People are going to run Protect into you because you have this thing, which just means they're wasting a slot on Protect. Removal, Cinderace, Zapdos. I didn't talk about removal in the last team. I think they were fine though. And they had. I didn't talk about them. The second team had Torkoal, so I just kind of ignored it. But Togekiss, Scissor. I said Defog Scissor. And you don't have a spinner, but does Ice Cube get spin? It might. It doesn't. Okay. I feel like I heard that somewhere. But I mean that's Scissor Togekiss Defog is fine. Anyways, best remover in the game. Great answer to weather teams. Zapdos is great in weather. Um, and Pulp, best mon in Draft League. Um, Cinderace to pair with the Fold is pretty great. Ogrepone, great third option. Your special attack is lacking. I guess you got Zapdos. That wants to run defensive on this team most of the time. And then I mean, Specs Pult is a thing. And Slowking has great special attack stat, of course. But Slowking also wants to run bulky. And I like physical Dragapult. Special Dragapult is more consistent, but physical Dragapult gets more rewards. And I think this team is locked into Special Pult, which is not the best. Typings. Reddit's week 2. Trying to think. I mean, low kicks is your ghost resist, so. And Kecleon, but Kecleon's not coming. So low kicks is your ghost resist. Your other 9 mons are all 9 mons are bringable, and I mean Kecleon Protean I guess is a mon that exists. You're not bringing it with those stats. I refuse to believe you're bringing that. I would say as a Spidef wall, but you got this thing. This def you got Rhydon and Cobalion. That's fine. I wish you had a better ground than Rhydon, but I mean, it's a bringable ground. It fills the role. Cinderace and Zapdos, two of the best removers in the game. Cinderace basically means people will not bring Hazard Stack into you, which is pretty great. This team also Rock Weak? No. This team's fine against Rock types. Boom. And, I mean, boom.
Yeah. It'll edge Quake week, I guess. But not even, because this can take both Stone Edge and Earthquake. Maybe a little reliant on Ride On, which is a funny sentence to say. Um, Fine against water, fine against ice for the most part. And yeah, just more special offense and maybe a little bit more physical defense that wants to come, but like even that I think that's fine. Um and your physical offense is all out of this world. Ogre Punt, Dragon Pull, Low Kick, Cinderace, it's crazy. I don't know how to prep for that shit. And Zapdos can run offensive and is good offensively in my opinion. So like you've got options, and most of your mons are bringable, which is the big thing for me. So I think you did great. Good job, Cryptos. All right, Cnard. Cnard. Yeah. So this is the team I've looked at. Yeah. Your grass type doesn't resist ground. Meowscarada does not count. Um, so your ground resist is Claydol. It's ground immunity, Claydol. Um, which has come to 3 games. I mean, it is a good mon. I like Claydol. Rapid Spin, Stealth Rock, real stats from like 105 defense, 120 defense, 60 HP ain't great, but it's not horrible. I mean, it is kind of horrible, but it's usable with those defenses. And then your Tinkaton is weak to ground. Your Dirge is weak to ground. I know it's your Terramon, but it's going to be needing to switch into these setting up mons, and they're going to be clicking the Earthquake. But Meow's not a real resist. I don't care what anyone says. I love Meow as a Pokemon. Not a real resist, though. It's like if I were to call Cart a resist. Like, I mean, I guess on the physical side it is, but on the special side, Cart ain't resistant anything. You could click a grass move into me, I'm still not resisting that shit. Um, the same vein, Water Weak. Cradily gets water immunity, right? Storm Drain. Yeah. So I guess that's a thing, but hella freeze dry week. I mean, hella like bundle week. Like, I don't know what you do in the bundle. Um, like water plus ice, water plus freeze dry. Um, and then ground plus dark plus ghost plus anything to hit this Claydol. Ground plus water even. I mean, sure you have a meow, but again, not a real resist. Cradily doesn't resist those ground type moves, as I was talking about earlier. Annihilate is a broken mon. Like, very good. Speed tiers, though, 123 to 90 is not great. You're letting everything in the 105 range to, like, well, 122 run out of it or modest, which is just not ideal. Um, so many things are running out of him in modest into Ukraine. Go down the list. Cinderace. I mean, I don't know why I do this, because I'm sure you guys know, but Enamorous, Thundurus, both Thundies, actually. Landorus, Sneasler, which is probably running out of it anyway, but Walking Lake, Garchomp, like, yeah, the list goes on and on. So speed tiers are not ideal. Um, I'm glad Meowscarada isn't your Terra Captain anymore. I would have harped on that like hell, but Skeledirge is a good Terra Captain. Good transfer. Mega Blastoise is your big special attacker, which I think is fine. Physical side, you got all these options. Ursaluna, Meowscarada, Annihilate, Harkonine, like you got breakers galore. And a cleaner and Meow, that's pretty great. Everything's gonna be running physically bulky into you. Maybe that one special bulky water, Slow King, any other bulky special water. Fucking Mantine. That's another one off the top of my head. This is another team where I think all 10 Mons are bringable. Zangoose is a real Pokemon. You may laugh, but Zangoose is a actually bringable Pokemon. And Tinkaton, Click, and Gigaton Hammer, like so many things are gonna be doing damage on the physical side. Ghost and Dark Week as well. More Ghost Week than Dark Week. I mean, you got Zangoose, but it's not coming most weeks, let's be real. Comes into the Basket Legion, probably. Maybe into the Houndstone as well, but otherwise, probably not coming. It's also probably not living a Wave Crash from a Basket Legion, so, yeah. I think a lot of the big threats in the meta game kind of nuke you. A lot of weathers nuke you. Heavily relying on Annihilate to do things. Heavily relying on Claydol, which is an ideal. That's your removal, by the way. Hazards, you got Tinkaton and Annihilate, both of which don't love running Stealth Rock. Arcanine Hisui is okay, but doesn't love running Stealth Rock either. I guess Tinkaton's your best rocker. Cradilly, but you're not bringing it every week. Claydol, but you're not bringing it every week. Meowscarada, Spikes and Toxic Spikes, but you want to run offensive with this team. Actually, you can run the Hazard set with this team. I take that back. Meow is very versatile in this team, I feel like. Except defensively. Can't do shit defensively. And you need its typing defensively, which is funny, because Grass Dark is a shit defensive type. Uh, but you need a defensive Dark in this team. And you just don't have it. I think Darks, in general, you want something at least a little bulky on your draft league team. You want a bulky Dark. Ground, you got Ursaluna, you got Claydol, you're fine. You don't have a grounded poison, so Toxic Spike weak. Zangoose likes taking those poison stuff, so I guess if you want to bring your Zangoose, it's a good thing. And then Arcanine runs Boost, Meow runs Boost, Annihilate runs Boost, Yelderge runs Boost, so it's fine. Removal, you got Claydol. Is that Mega Blastoise? But are you really running Rapid Spin Mega Blastoise? I don't think you are. Um, so yeah, just a bunch of type weaknesses, some issues in your speed tiers. Like there's a lot of problems with this team. You got some fun mons though. Meowscarada, Arcanine Sui, Annihilate, Terra Dirge, Ursaluna. All fun mons. I like Tinkaton and Claydol as well. I think every mon is bringable, which is again very, very big deal. So I mean, keep at it, keep trying. Do different things. Try to get something working with this team. Maybe make some transactions, fix some issues. Maybe get that bulky Dark. Um, trade a physical attacker for a special attacker. No. Alright. Moving on. The LGBT Quills. With the Quillfish mascot pick. Which is funny. Off the bat, 9 bringable Pokemon. And a Bibarel. Which isn't a bringable Pokemon. Electro Hisui is a real mon. So I'm counting that speed tier. So you got 150, 110, which is fine. 100, 85, 71, 60. Perfect. Great speed tiers. Palafin Jet Punch is the thing that it does. Bulk up, choice band. Some special sets are valuable because you can surprise people. I don't love Terra Ogrepone Cornerstone, and here's why. You can only Terra as one type. You're getting rid of a lot of the versatility in the Terra mechanic by giving your Terra to Ogrepone. I would have gone with Electrode, personally. I would have given Electrode more viability by making it my Terra Captain. Magnezone, also a great Terra Captain, by the way. So those are two options. Um, Ground is Gligar, which is fine. Grounded Poison is Quillfish, which is fine. Um, Weak to types. And you got a great Grass, Water, Fire core, in my opinion. Pretty great Fairy Steel. Fairy and Steel. You don't need a dragon, in my opinion, at all. You don't. Obviously, these are both quad weak to ground, and your grass doesn't resist ground. Neither of them, actually. So you are ground weak because boom, 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 and then so Gligar is your ground like check. It's just Gligar, and then Sugarberry on this. This is the only when Matt can't even run Sugarberry. Never mind, Sugarberry on nothing. It's just Gligar. So Mamoswine is going to cook your team offensively. You got a Jet Punch, luckily, and Scarf Moth. Got it. You got options, but you're gonna have to check things offensively a lot. Um, Speaking of Palafin, Ogrepone Cornerstone, Iron Moth, that's your offense, which is fine. Magnezone Analytic is a real thing. Oh, and Lele, what am I saying? You got a Lele. Lele Palafin is weird. You're turning off your own Jet Punch every time you go into Lele. And Palafin's big thing is clicking Jet Punch. Um, so that's weird. I also don't know what Psychic Terrain does for this team. I don't think there's anything that's like scared of priority. Because Gligar doesn't like getting Ice Sharded, but that's not a reason to draft Psychic Terrain. I think Lele is a little weird on this team. I do not think it's doing what it needs to do. Obviously, Psychic Fairy Stab is great offensively, but I just don't. I don't think it fits the role that you want a Lele to on your team. I think you want a different fairy. Um, Defensively, very reliant on your items. Quillfish and Gligar both you can get knocked off and they're no longer defensive Pokemon. Magnezone dies to an Earthquake or a Body Press. Like those are not like 115 70s respectable, but not living any ground attack. Not living +2 body presses either. Or focus blasts. Um yeah, like your defensive mons are heavily reliant on their items, so knockoff's incredibly spammable into you. Your whole team kind of wants their items very badly, except Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee is your knock switching and Ogrepone. Man, Crocodile in this division goes crazy. Third team and it's like fourth team in a row that I'm just thinking Crook nukes you. Palafin again obviously can check the Crook, but Palafin's checking a lot for this team. And obviously can only check after you've switched in and out. Moth is great on this team with Palafin and Ogrepone. I think that's an amazing Firewater Grass offensive core. I think it's actually very good. And Quillfish as a bulky water is fine. I'm a big fan of Electro Hisui. I think you got a lot of good mons. I think there's some weird synergy stuff with Lele especially, and both of your defensive mons hating the move knockoff. Um, But I think if you play around it right and you check things offensively when you can, I think you got a good team. Very solid. If you can't tell, I'm kind of sick. The Los Angeles Chimp Charts. Okay. This is the team that brings the same 6 Mons every week, because you have exactly. Well, I mean, Kof and Weezing are both bringable Pokemon, but, like. One, they're redundant together. You never bring both of these. And a Blissey. Um, and a Suicune, for that matter. Like, I don't think these Mons could be something else. Grimmsnarl, your setup mon is Zygarde. That's all you got. So if they have a check to Zygarde, Grimmsnarl is doing what? I mean, it's an offensive. It has a real attack stat, which people forget. I'm actually a big Grimmsnarl guy in Draft League. I think it's got other sets, but people just love running the fucking Light Screen Reflect set. And in terms of that set, you got Zygarde and a Melmetal that doesn't set up, but I mean, it doesn't really have to, and it can be behind screen, so that's fine. Um, hazards. Oh my gosh, you got no hazards. Blissey. That's what you got. I'm not counting Toadsquirrel or Ariados. Toadsquirrel doesn't come to a game. Toadsquirrel is entirely redundant on this team. I don't know why you have a Toadsquirrel. I just like you have 6 Mons that come to every game, and it's what you've done this so far, and it's worked. But if your opponent knows which 6 Mons are coming into them for sure, because your other 4 Mons are not coming, Weezing will come occasionally. Cove will come occasionally. Neither one, you don't need both. Place one with an offensive Mon. Get a better grass type than Toadscroll. Speed tiers are awful. 100 is your top speed tier, and that's just Chi-Yu, because Toadscroll's not a real Pokemon, as I said earlier. That ability is so garbage. God, Toadscroll's bad. Removal. Yeah. Does Weezing get Defog or just Galar? Not Netdex. Netdex. Defog. Just Galar gets Defog, so no Defog Weezing. Yeah, all you got is Toadscroll. That's awful. Man, there's a lot of issues with this team that people just haven't been taking advantage of. I mean, they're winning all their games. But I mean, horrible speed tiers. Very, very, like, entirely known gameplay. Like, Zygarde, Grimmsnarl, Chi-Yu, Melm, Suicune, Blissey, they're all doing the same thing. They're the 6 Mons you're bringing every week. I think incredibly easy to prep against. Yeah, I think this is the weakest team so far, which is funny because they've got a great record. Um, but hey, you're proving me wrong at the moment. Keep proving me wrong. Um, typing wise, I mean, you only have 6 Mons, so you're weak to a bunch of stuff because you only have 6 Mons. Fighting off the top of my head, because I mean, you got this and this, but again, why do you have both? Great Tusk cooks your team beyond belief. Kind of ground weak as well, because again, Weezing. I mean, if you bring these 6 Mons, like, Kof and Weezing do not both need to be on the team. Keep Weezing, drop Kof, in my opinion. Drop these 2 Pokemon, get something better, something fast. 100 is not a good top of your speed tier. If you want at least 115, probably something in the 120s. I'll move on now. And hey, I mean, you're doing well. Keep doing well. Keep proving that I'm an idiot. Your team's actually goated. Ares' team, Bossy City Gly scores. Terra MP Palm is heat. That is fucking heat, man, and it's doing great. And I'm not surprised, honestly. That thing is great. 115 top of speed tier is not great. It is your MP Palm. Screamtail 111, Keldeo 108, 101. You drop off again. Speed tiers aren't ideal, but you got a Ditto. So, speed tiers are speed tiers. You got a Ditto. And a Vikavolt with Sticky Webs, which I think is great with Lando, Keldeo. Offense, Lando, Keldeo, Mega Scissor, Ambipalm. Even Vikavolt is good offensively. Defensively, you got Spiritomb, Screamtail, Regirock, Tangela. Pretty great defensive core as well. Not sure what Sinnoh is doing on this team. Get a faster fire. Sinnoh tier 4? Yeah, okay. Um, I mean, many of them would even be better, but if you're looking for a fire, Talonflame is a tier 4. Pick up a Talonflame, bro. Talonflame would fit your team so well. But again, Ditto is Ditto. Mega Scissor isn't coming to a lot of games for being a Mega Scissor, but I mean, great offensive options, great defensive options, fine typings. I don't think you're weak to any specific type, which is weird when you draft three bugs, but they actually typing wise work well together. But I don't think you need a Sense of Scorch. Um, maybe you think you're fire weak, but I mean, Regirock Ditto to resist the fire move, and Keldeo is fine. Mega Scissor is really bulky as well. Wish passing to Spiritomb and Regirock is pretty great. Even Tangela likes it. Even Mega Scissor likes it. Even Lando and Keldeo like it. Even Ambipom with a Life Orb likes it. Screamtail's great in this team. Um, yeah, I mean, Sticky Webs is great. I think Vigavolt is great. I think everything fills a role on this team pretty well except the Sense of Scorch. I think Regirock is good on this team. Hazard Setter, you got Screamtail, you got Regirock, you got Ditto to come in on their Hazard Setter, you got Lando. So plenty of options there. You got Ditto to come in on their removal, Lando to remove, you got Mega Scissor to remove. Doesn't love clicking it, but that's fun. Like it can. You're fine there. So I mean speed tiers are your biggest issue in my opinion. Something in the 120 range and something between 101 and 75 you'd want, but I mean overall, pretty great team. Hard to deal with, and you have checks for everything, in my opinion. So great job, team. Okay. San Antonio Toros. The the Sun team that drafted Dozo for some reason. And Mawile as your steal for some reason. Wait, no, you have Skarmory. Why is Mawile on this team? You have an Intimidator, a Fairy, and a Steel. Why did you draft Mawile? Arcanine's a great Terra Captain. Skarmory's a great defensive piece. Volcarona's a great sweeper. Lilligant's a great sweeper. Ninetales is fine now. It's got Baton Pass, Willow. Why do you have Dozo on this team? Lantern does everything Dozo does fine. I mean, obviously that's not true. Dozo is a unaware mon that walls things better than Lantern, but Lantern gets toxic. Lantern is a much lower tiered mon, and you could get something better than Dozo in tier 2. for this team. Um, Speed tiers again not ideal. You want something faster than 110. You want something between 100 and 95 and 70. You still want something between those because Skarmory doesn't actually have 70 speed. Let's be real. Um, Victory Dance, Quiver Dance, crazy setup sweeper options. Mega Dance is great. Arcanine Terror is great. So great on the special and physical offense side. Defensively, I mean, you have big, bulky things, but like Dozo is just passive on this team, in my opinion. It doesn't do what it needs to do. Lantern is a pivot, so it's fine. Volcarona is a pivot. Arcanine's a pivot. Arcanine does get U-turn, right? I'm not crazy. Or baton pass, sorry. Doesn't get baton pass? Oh no, it gets teleport. Right. Knew it got a pivot move. So pivot, pivot, pivot. Look at pivot. No, but like it doesn't really want to pivot anyway. Then Lantern pivot, which is great. Um, Hazards, you're fine on both sides. You can remove, you can set them. Jump Fluff is, I guess, a mon you could bring in Sun, so it's okay. Dozo's come to 6 games, and I don't think it's done anything in those 6 games. So, yeah, I mean, I stand by what I said. Skarmory's great in this team. I think Lantern is underrated on this team. I actually think it's very good on this team. I think these two mods together are hard to prep for. I wish Lilligant was your Terra Captain, kind of. But Arcanine is solid too, so it's not that big a deal. Ground week, ground week, ground week, ground week. Ice week. Ice week. Freeze dry week. Freeze dry week. Freeze dry week. Um, water week, water week, water week, water week. But you're sun, so that doesn't matter. Um, I mean, you're fine. Bring Lantern, bro. Mawile, get Mawile off this team. Get Dozo off this team. Um, Something in the physical breaker form. I mean, you got Arcanine. Something in the special breaker form, then, actually. Mega Diancie can be that, but you want another option. And then just anything better than Mawile, a Wish Passer, hopefully. To Wish Pass into Lantern and Bulky Volk and Flygon, Skarmory, Mega Diancie, yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, not ideal speed tiers. Got some issues. Sun is, again, very televised. This team is less heavily reliant on Sun because Mega Diancie, Arcanine, Volcarona, all Lilligant, all usable outside Sun, so that's nice. Um, Again, you got a lot of options on this team. Almost every mon is bringable. You got a Mawile, and I mean, I don't think Jump Fluff is very bringable. I guess it came to a game, and it is bringable on Sun. I think it's technically bringable. Not great though. Usually you want to run something else. I think. Um, Overall, I think Dozo just isn't fitting its role on this team, but otherwise, it's a decent team. It's got a few great options, ways to win the game, and yeah, I mean, nice job, bro. The rain team. That is just hard rain. Is all it is. Um, yeah. unbelievably rock. Unbelievably freeze dry weak. Obviously, you've got bundle, but and then I mean grass weak, grass weak, grass weak, grass resist. Um, Heavily rain reliant. This team has also brought the same 6 mods every single game. Reggie Lucky Kill the Watch was a bit redundant to me. Well, you already got Corviknight and Pelipper to defog, so it's not like you need Rapid Spin Regieleki, so I may replace that with something. Speed tiers 200 to 136 to 125 to a bunch of things in fucking range, so I mean, you're fast. Your team is fast. Setup Seeker is Tyrantrum. You got Last Respect's best cleaner in the game. Iron Bundle, great cleaner. In terms of sweepers, I guess it's just Tyrantrum. It's funny. Defensively, good God, Corviknight, live, hits, please, or I lose, is what this team is. His ult is just not coming, most of the time. So Corv and Pelipper, which both die to the same fucking electric moves. And if they predict your Mega Swampert coming in once, that could be game. So, not ideal defensively. Which is probably why it's losing most of its games, because it can't keep the weather up. Without the weather up, the team becomes bad. Vasculegion, Mega Swampert, Kilowatt Roll, Iron Bundle, they all want the rain up, and you just couldn't keep it up. Which resulted in a losing. I am getting tired and rambling. Sorry about that. Back to the team. I think Altaria is decent. I wish it would come to games. I think Kilowatt is decent. I wish it would come to games. Quad flying is crazy to me. Volt Absorb, luckily. Not weak to ice. Luckily. Very rock weak yet again. Corviknight dies to electric move. Terra Electric is kind of just a problem. I mean, Mega Swampert cannot do everything, bruh. Neither can Regieleki. I like your Terramon, big Tyrantrum fan. Speed tiers are wonk. Go from 125 to 80. Everything's running out of min modest, basically. Um, so that's not ideal. Bastion Legion gets last respects, and that's your saving grace. I think team is pretty not great. A lot of exploits, a lot of type weaknesses, a lot of redundancy in Pokemon drafted. Regieleki, Altaria, neither one needs to be here. Um, Kilowattrel needs to come to more games and do things. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the Rain team. In KS, and yeah, Terra Braylum's great. Nidoking is great. Goldango is great. Moltres is great. Azu is great. Mega Gallade is great. Revavroom is bringable. Chuckle is bringable. Hydreigon's great. Shiftry is an amazing tier 6, and Hypno is Hypno. Speed tiers 110, 98, 90, 84, 70, 67. I mean, you want something faster than Mega Gallade is the first thing. You just do. Luckily you have webs, so it opens up a lot of things like a sweeping Nidoking, which has happened, and a sweeping Terra Breloom, and like a DD Hydreigon, or even a Nasty Plot Agility Hydreigon. And then of course Bandit Azu, Belly Drum Azu, both good options. Um, I mean, this team is so versatile. Every single mon on this team is bringable, except maybe Hypno, but even Hypno can do things technically. Um, so I mean, it's great. Removal wise, you got Moltres, you got Hydreigon, you got Shiftry. Setting wise, you got Nidoking, you got Shuckle, you got Cerebravroom gets Stealth Rock. Nope. Um, I mean, yeah, great team. No huge issues. Bunch of great Pokemon come together, do great things. Are you Fairy Weak? No, not really. Quad resist, resist, resist. You got a great ground rock resist in a Terra Breloom. Um, I think every mon fits on this team. I think it's pretty great. Mono Dark. Um, I mean, it's pretty much what you'd expect. It's Mono Dark. Um, it's impressive their win rate with Mono Dark. These are all mods that are also incredibly televised. They all do one thing. Chien-Pao does a couple variations. Darkrai does a couple variations, but they do one thing. So this will be a boring match. They're just gonna do the same thing again. I can't watch this. What am I saying? I'm not watching anything right now. Oh my god, I'm tired. Ugh, that's my class just started. Uh, well, I can't do that. Wow, you just saw my college. Crazy. I'm glad you have a Zoroark. I mean, it's Monodark. Like, I don't have much to say. You're drafting a monotype in a regular draft league. You're distinctly at a disadvantage. You have a fighting immunity, so that's nice. Very weak. Why do you have both Drapion and Makalola? Other than the fact that they both aren't weak to fairy. I don't ever see bringing Drapion to a single game over Makalola. In fact, I think you would be insane to do that. How do you make Drapion anything else? Steel, hopefully, because King Gambit's gone, which is fine. King Gambit isn't great on Mono Dark, but is anything great on Mono Dark? Moltres Galar is great on Dark. Chien Pao is just great. Hello.
Mom wants to know if on Friday you want to go to Milkland and see if
Sorry about that. Yeah. Um, I mean, a lot of the same mods are gonna come every week, and they're gonna do their thing, and it's Monodark. And the speed tiers are fine. I don't know. He drafted Monodark. He knows what the issues of Monodark is. It was a choice. So, moving on. Ah, yes. Um, weird. This is my first thing. Um, Megalotti Gliscor Terra Chandelure is a great start. Zamazenta C, Rotom Wash, Weezing Galar, Ting Lu is great building on that. Ting Lu and Gliscor I don't think is necessary. I think that's a little weird. Basculin is a great low tier. No hate there. That's great. Uh, Dodrio is weird. Togedemaru is weird. Eldegoss is weird. We have plenty of removal. Every single mon on your team is removal. I don't know why you're drafting Eldegoss. Get a different grass type. And it's not like you're weak to ground either. Levitate, immune. So I don't know what this is. Great typing balance in general. Um, Like, no type I'm looking at. I think this team loses. I mean bundle, but that's not a real thing, so. Even then, Zama can probably wall bundle for the, like, defensive zones. A special defensive Zama. Special defensive Weezing Galar could probably wall it, so you got options. Tinglu, I don't think, or Gliscor or Tinglu, whichever one you want to drop. They're both great mods. Speed tiers are fine. 128 to 110 to 95 to 80. Oh, 96 to 80, which is actually a little bit better. 80 to 60 is fine, so yeah, that's fine. Good typing balance. Yeah, I mean, great Terra Captain. Bunch of great options in terms of mons. Great top of the speed tier and on the C. Yeah, I mean, Mega Lottie's a steal. Tier 2. It is tier 2, right? I'm not crazy. Am I crazy? I might be crazy. I am crazy. It's still great in tier 1. um, Mason Galar's great fairy. I think it's heavily underrated in draft. Toga Demaru as your steal is just not it. Zamazenta C as a steal is great. I don't know why you have Toga Demaru. It doesn't need to be here. Rotowash is good on this team. Basculin again is great. Dodrio I'm okay with. Eldegoss, Toga Demaru, and one of Gliscor Tinglu I think should go. But I mean, you got a lot of great pieces, a lot of options. A lot of mons are bringable, or you just choose to bring them, which is, I mean, hey, if you're bringing them and they're doing things, keep at it. Yeah, so good team overall. Ah, yes. Every mon is weak to fire, and I don't care. Because I have a Mega Charizard, a Manaphy, and a Toxapex. So I exaggerated how weak it was to fire. Manaphy, best Terra Captain in the game. Mega Charizard X, crazy. Speed tiers are bad, though. 109 at the top is not great. 100 drop off to 80 isn't ideal. It's okay, it's not ideal. And then I don't know why you have Spidops. Spidops is never coming to a game. Cryogonal can come to a game. Cryogonal definitely can come to a game. Bulu is a shit mon. Bulu is garbage. It's a fairy that doesn't beat any dragons. Get a different fairy. Bulu is awful. I think Bulu is one of the worst traps on the board. I think Bulu is just bad. Pex Fortress is great together. Klefki setting those screens and T-waving for the Mega Charizard and Manaphy is pretty great. Mandibuzz got some good defensive utility. Roost, Defog, U-turn, Foul Play. It does that thing. Quartana, crazy offensive pressure. Again, team's a little slow, but overall, I think it's one of the best teams in the div. Big Manaphy, Mega Charizard X, Kartana is crazy to check. And then Mandibuzz, Toxapex, Fortress, Klefki, Cryogonal. Great defensive backbone. Manaphy can do both very well. Bulu is a shit mod. Just wanted to end the video with that. Shitter Bulu. Yeah, so thanks for hanging out with me. I know this was a little bit of a messy video, but I hope you got what you wanted out of it. And good luck with your seasons. Yeah.